Hey guys, me Frio. Today we're gonna make some coffee. Hello everyone, good morning. Ohayou gozaimasu. I'm Freodore, designer of NIJISANJI EN's 11th unit by The Beat. NIJISANJI EN 所属 by The Beat のビジュアルセンスがこだわりのデザイナーフリオドールです。Because we're doing no chat today. じゃあ今日はチャットなしでコーヒー入れましょうか。Yeah, for some reason sometimes it does that. I need to log in and it's weird because I'm pretty sure it was fine before I started stream and then it reset. 今回はリセットか。まあ大丈夫だ。It's okay. Anyways, hi everyone. How's everyone doing today? Hope everyone's doing okay. Today, we're gonna be trying a new type of processed coffee that I had not tried before. The dogs are, of course, as soon as they started stream, they started barking. Oh man. Sausage dogs, when are they gonna move out? They were supposed to move out already. They haven't left. ワンちゃんがまだワンワンしてるよね。もう引っ越しするはずなのに、まだ引っ越ししてないよ。Anyways. I'm actually pretty sleepy right now. 結構眠いけどね。So, this is the perfect time to have some coffee. じゃあ、コーヒー入れるのは完璧ですね。ちょうどいい時間だ。よし。Anyways, this is gonna be the recipe of today. 今日のレシピはこちらです。はい。So, as usual, we're gonna be using the Origami Air M. The recipe is gonna be a pretty usual recipe that I use when trying new beans. It's a pretty stable recipe. Not just when trying new beans, but just in general. We're going to be doing the double bloom recipe, 3 pours. We're going to be using the Cafe TH3 filters, which I'm almost running out of. And as for the beans, these beans are thermal shock pakamaras from, I don't know if it's a plural thing. This is a thermal shock pakamara bean from Jonathan Gasca, that's a producer, from Black and White Coffee. This is wait, let me make sure that I have this correct. Yeah, this is a bean from Colombia, more specifically Huila, Colombia. And it's a thermal shocked washed process bean, which what it means for thermal shock, I don't know if you guys are familiar with like skincare or hair care when it comes to like hot water opening your skin pores and closing them. This is kind of similar in the process where they're washing the coffee. It involves washing the coffee. I believe like the second round of washing is done through a layer of hot water, a process of hot water to open the pores of the beans, and then quickly they switch to cold water to close the pores. And that supposedly is able to lock in the fruity flavors and aromas way more effectively than a normal washed process. I believe I had not seen this process much before outside of Black and White Coffee's beans. And I think they even have like a thermal shock washed and natural blend from the same producer, but this time I decided to only try the washed one. And I believe the notes described here are cherry blossom, raspberry, peach tea, chocolate ganache, and it should be a pretty light roast as well. We're going to be doing 15 grams of beans. I wrote 240 grams of water, but actually we're going to be changing that. We're going to be doing 250 grams at 92 degrees Celsius since it's a washed. And we're going to be using the Easy Presso CP6 this time, not the Comandante, at 63 clicks. So it's going to be a pretty coarse grind, around like 900 microns, somewhere around there. Then the recipe is going to be, we're going to be pouring 45 grams for the bloom, wait around 30 seconds, and if the bed is really dry and cracked, we're going to pour until around 75 grams. And then at 1 minute or 1 minute and 10 seconds, around there, we're going to be pouring until 250 grams for the remainder of the water. And that should be it for the recipe. I kind of want to try something as well. Wait, can I just like... So if I bring up back the chat, can I not just... but then it corrupts this side, so I'm just gonna... There you go. Now it's there. It's not perfect, but it will do for now. まあ、今日でこれでいいかな。後で直すよ。Next, I'm going to briefly explain the recipe in Spanish as well. I mean, Spanish and Japanese as well, and then we can proceed with the coffee, okay? じゃあ、日本語でも、今日のレシピも説明しましょうね。いつも通りの、折り紙 RM ドリッパーを使ってみます。このレシピはもういろんな配信で使ったことはあるね。ダブル蒸らしのレシピね。注ぐのステップは3回があって、結構シンプルなレシピです。でね、このフィルターはカフェク TH3 のフィルターですね。そして今日の豆ね、結構面白い豆です。ジョナタン・ガスカのテーモショックパカマラ豆ですね。ブラック&ホワイトコーヒーの。この豆の、品種はコロンビア品種です。そして生成過程は、これは一番面白いだと思うね。Thermal Shock Washed。日本語でなんて言うのってわからないけど、多分スキンケアやヘアケア、詳しい人は、このプロセスは結構わかるかもね。だって、スキンケアとヘアケアの時に、なんていうの日本語で、毛穴かな？だって、あったかいお水で髪を洗ったら毛穴が開けるでしょ？そして冷たい水で洗ったら毛穴が閉めるでしょ？そうやってなんか同じみたいにコーヒー豆を洗うときにあったかい水使ってコーヒーのなんていうの気候を開けて後で早く冷たい水でコーヒー豆を洗ってるね。冷たい水で気候を閉めます。そうやって味はもっと強くなれるはずなと思いますね。結構面白いだと思う。それ以上、普通のウォッシュとプロセスですね。味わいは、桜、ラスプベリー、モモティー、そしてチョコレートがなしね。焙煎は浅いです。今回は、いつも通りの 15g 豆使ってみます。そして、お湯は 250g 使います。92度でね。そしてコマンダンテじゃなくて今回も Easy Press CP6 を使いますね。ワッシュコーヒーで結構いいコミになるから透明感が高いから Easy Press を CP6 使うのをちょうどいいと思います。そしてレシピは結構簡単ですね。最初は45g まで注ぎます。これは蒸らしのステップで。そして30秒でなんかコーヒーの粉によって結構なんかドライになったら75g まで注ぎますね。そして1分で残ってるお湯を注ぎます。あとで完成です。Alright. Thank you very much. So yeah, that was the explanation, the rough explanation in Japanese. If anyone's curious about the beans, I have the link for you. Hopefully this one should work. 誰か気になったら、これは今日のリンクですね。 I believe this one should work, alright. Mireるでしょこのリンク。Okay. So yeah, if we look at the website, there's like a category between like how light and dark it is and between how clean and funky it is as well. The last wine noted coffee that we tried from Black and White was pretty close to the funkier side. So this one's a little bit on the cleaner side, which is usually how I like my coffee. So I'm very interested in this one in particular. And yeah, if you wanna read more about the producer or the process, or like a more detailed explanation of the flavor, we can read that over here right now. So it says, this uniquely processed coffee brings together the two worlds of a naturally processed coffees and washed lots, giving us a lovely flavor profile that is somehow loyal to both. It is delightfully floral like cherry blossom and sips a whole lot like peach iced tea. Red fruit still finds its way into the cup, reminding us of fresh red raspberries paired with craft chocolate, but not in a decidedly funky sort of way. It's more like the raspberry ganache you might find inside a bonbon. Pretty... I don't know, it sounds pretty nice just based on this description, right? Nothing too strong, but more like a pleasant, light sip, which seems... I don't know. It seemed really interesting. 結構面白そうだったね、この味の説明。なんか結構桜みたいにフロラルの味わいがあるけど、それなのにまだなんか、赤い果物、ラスプベリーみたいな感じとチョコレートのコンビもあるみたいから。結構なんか強くなくて優しい味コーヒーみたいですね。よし。So, without further ado, how about we start brewing the coffee? じゃあ、コーヒー入れましょうか。I'm gonna start heating up the water to 92 degrees. じゃあ、90度までお湯を温めます。Okay. So, I've turned off the filters in my microphone. Let me just switch the setting. じゃあ、マイクのセット変わります。Alright. Should be able to... Oh wait, that's the wrong setting. There you go. You should be able to hear my room a little bit better now. 部屋をもっと聞こえるようになったね。よし。So, we're gonna start out with the beans. じゃあ、豆から始まりますね。袋を開きます。We're gonna open the bag. Just wanna be careful not to break anything and spill everything. I can smell something, but maybe we'll smell a little bit better once we open the bag. なんか聞こえるじゃなくて匂いがあるけど、じゃあ開けましょうか、袋。Let's see. It does have like a peachy aroma. Pretty peachy. 結構なんか桃みたいな味わい、香りがあるね。Smells nice. いい匂いだ。I'm personally not the biggest fan of peach, but it smells nice. まあ、個人的に桃があまり好きじゃないけど、まあいい匂いですね。Alright, we're gonna pour 15 grams. Yosh. 15 grams, okay. 15 grams da. Did I bring my spray? I did. Okay, thankfully I did bring the spray. Yosh. Vroom, vroom, vroom. Okay. Sorry, I'm like reaching out for stuff. Shokkan のまあ食感よりただ味ですね。嫌いではないけど、ただそんなに好きじゃないね。Yeah, no, for peach it's not like I'm bad with the texture or anything. I'm just not a particular fan of the flavor. I don't hate it or anything. I can eat it. It's just not something I ever crave, you know. I'm never like, oh, I would like a peach anything, you know. But usually with coffee, I can get surprised though. It's I try to be pretty open-minded when it comes to coffee. Or usually foods like that I haven't tried before, you know. まあけどコーヒーなら時々なんかびっくりするから結構オープンマインドでいろいろ試して楽しいよね。It's fun to try a bunch of different coffees, especially like I've had strawberry coffees that I like, and I personally don't like strawberry at all. So you never know, right? まあ個人的になんかいちごコーヒーもなんか好きになったいちごコーヒーがあるから、そして個人的にいちごは全然好きじゃないから例外があるね。Anyways, we're gonna be grinding at 63 clicks on the EC Presso CP6, so we're gonna start now, okay? じゃあ豆引きましょうね。EC Presso CP6 63クリックで。Pretty fast, huh? 早いですね。We are done. もう終わったわ。I'm gonna grab the cafe. Yeah, we're grinding pretty coarse, and then this grinder's really fast. I think I can also recommend it for people that don't want to be grinding for too long, if you guys like coarse grinds. そうですね、粗挽き好きな人はこのグラインダーもおすすめできるよね。まあ味は結構特別だけどね。こうなんか透明感高くて茶みたい味わいが出るから。でも多分イージープレスの別のグラインダーも同じくらいから、ね、K ウルトラがおすすめできるよね。I don't know, I can recommend this grinder, but this grinder is pretty, like, it's a pretty specialist-based grinder, so for those that like their coffees to be tea-like, more clarity-focused, acidity-forward, then I can recommend this grinder, but I think other EC Presso grinders should be able to grind just as fast. So, probably the K Ultra would be good when it comes to like an all-rounder. やっぱり歯がいいんだろうな。まあコーヒーミルが歯使ってないよね。日本語で忘れちゃったけど。なんていうの？ burrs？ いつも忘れてるよ。Yeah, no, but coffee grinders do not use blades. They use burrs to keep like a very consistent grind. That's why we don't want to use blade grinders. そうそうそう、薄ですね。薄だ。メモにするよね。薄。Alright. ありがとう。Have like my notepad with all the Japanese terms in for coffee because a lot of it I don't have memorized. But yeah, no. Please do not grind your beans with blades. Very much harmful for the beans. Of course, if you have a set of really good beans and a set of a blade and a blade grinder, that's always gonna be better than having the best grinder and bad beans, right? So beans are more important. もちろんですね。まあ、歯グラインダー、ブレードグラインダーが全然おすすめできないよね。コーヒーのコーナーのクオリティが、全然良くないけど、まあ、完璧の豆と、ブレードグラインダーは、多分完璧のグラインダーより悪くない豆の方が悪いかもね。豆が一番大事だ。Yeah, please do not put your beans in the blender. That's not gonna be a good grind. Anyways, let's start brewing this coffee, okay? じゃあ、コーヒー入れましょうか。I need my coffee before so that I can properly wake up. ちゃんと目覚めるために。Oh, the water went down to 90 degrees. Okay, 92. Come on. 92じゃなくていや、92でしょ。92. There you go. 92 degrees. よし。So, we're gonna be pouring until 45 grams, okay? じゃあ、最初の蒸らしです。There you go. Just let that soak for about 30 seconds and see how the coffee grinds react. じゃあ、コーヒーの粉の反応をちゃんと見てみるのよね。I'm gonna be looking at this carefully and see how dry it gets or if it forms like a layer. It is looking pretty dry actually. So we're actually gonna pour another set until 75 grams. There you go. Now we're just gonna wait. I wrote a minute, but I think I'm gonna do a minute 20 this time. Just to let it soak a little bit more. So we're gonna be changing that to 1 minute and 20. そうね、今回はもっと待ちたいですね。Just let it degas, especially because it's still a pretty recently roasted. This was roasted March 10th, so let it properly degas. それはね、結構先に焙煎されたからね。3月の10日で焙煎されましたから。We're pouring until 250 grams. Yosh. And we're gonna be swirling the dripper a little bit to slow down the draw. And there you go. じゃあ 250g まで注いで、ネットでドリッパーをぐるぐるしますね。Yeah, this is the perfect timing. Because it's been around 2 weeks. そうだね、もうそろそろ2時間ぐらい経ったからちょうどいいよね。よし。So we have finished 改めてよ。同じの間違いしてたね。2週間。2週間。何言ってんの ?2 時間 ?2 時間って言った。週間。今年も穴入ろうか。Okay, let's turn off the water. Oh, the stopwatch is Yosh. Okay, let's see how it goes. No super strong aroma so far. 香りが全然強くないよね。Alright, so anyone that has misophonia or is very it's not a fan of drinking noises, slurping noises, then I must have to warn you. I'm just gonna give the coffee a try, so please be careful, okay? そうだね、飲むの音苦手人に、注意しますね。ちゃんとコーヒーを味わってみます。乾杯、プロエチョ。Thank you, gracias. Let's see. Interesting. 面白いです。ちょっと待ってね。One second. All right. Yeah, this is very interesting. I was expecting this really light tasting cup, but this is actually quite bitter. Maybe because of the way I brewed it, the recipe, but ちょっとなんか思ったより苦いですね。It's not bad at all though. It's not a bad bitterness, but it was just not what I was expecting. I was expecting a little bit more of a light flavor, but yeah, no, there is some bitterness to it. I feel like the first thing I taste is actually like it's the chocolate covered raspberry more than anything. And then the florality of the bean comes in way later. It's very interesting. It's very like a dark chocolate kind of vibe. Any fruitiness? Yeah, definitely from the raspberry. I don't know if I taste the peach. No, there's definitely some peach in there. Yeah, no. So, if I can describe it, it goes from... It starts out with the raspberry and the chocolate ganache. And then, in the middle, it becomes more of like a peach tea kind of vibe. And then it ends with the cherry blossom kind of aftertaste. The florality comes in at the end. It's very interesting. It's pretty nice. 結構いいですね。最初は、チョコレートとラズベリーの味が強くて、全然なんか甘すぎるではないよね。結構なんかダークチョコレートみたいな感じがあって、そして真ん中で、桃の味が来るよね。そして後味で桜のフロラルな感じがある。多分今日のレシピのおかげでこうになったけど、 面白い。まあけど美味しいよね。It's pretty tasty. Pretty tasty. I wonder if like maybe if I do it with the other recipe that I normally use, the 2-pour recipe, then it's likely that I can make it a little bit clearer and lighter. そうね、多分ダブルブームだしのレシピじゃなくて、2ステップレシピ使ったら多分もっと透明になるかな。透明感が上がるかも。ちゃんと桜感じられるんだ。うん。まあ後味でね。少しだけそんなになんか強くないよ。いや、the sakura vibe is not super strong. It's at the end. I feel like despite like the bitterness in the chocolate vibe, it really does give me a kind of a spring feeling to it. I think if I were to associate it with a season, it would be spring. やっぱりなんか季節と関係があるなら個人的になんか春っぽいだと思うね。Sí, como primavera. Yeah, I don't know if there's like a strong bias because of the cherry blossoms, right? Because that's what you associate them with. It's spring, so you want to go see the cherry blossoms in Japan. People even travel all the way to like go. So maybe there's a bias to it. 多分これバイアスがあるからね。だって桜見たら確かに春だねって考えちゃうもんね。だってみんなが桜なら春の関係があるでしょ。みんなも春を思い出す。Like they made it quite easy for me if they put sakura in there. For me to just say, oh yeah, spring. 結構簡単になるよね。桜ならまあ春しかないでしょ。It's pretty nice, pretty nice. Speaking of which, I believe for a lot of people that ordered online, the Nippon Hyakuten Salt collab has been arriving to a lot of people now, right? So, in that set of salts that I chose, one of them was the sakura salt. I wonder if anyone tried it. Do you guys like it? そうですね、もうオンラインで注文した人に、日本100点コラボのお塩セットをもう届いてるでしょ。そのセットで僕が、桜塩を選んだね。桜塩の種類があった。みんなはどうだった？美味しかった？甘かったでしょ？なんか、少しだけなんか甘い感じがあったでしょ。There was like a sweetness to it, right? I believe I recommended putting it on like ice cream. It was very funny. I think I don't know if I got to explain this in English. Or maybe I did. I don't even remember it from the PR stream. But in the PR stream I explained that I picked 3 flavors for the salt collab. I picked the spicy garlic salt. I picked the yuzu salt. And then I picked the sakura salt. And my reasoning for picking the spicy garlic salt and the yuzu salt is that I really wanted something that was similar to Latin American spices that we normally use. Of course, we don't have yuzu in Latin America. And I'm sure the spicy garlic is very different from the spices we use here. But we do use a lot of spicy food, or we do a lot of spicy condimenting on our when a fruit, a lot of spicy seasoning. And for yuzu is a citrus, right? We also condiment a lot with season a lot with citrus, especially limes. So I really wanted to choose something that would be similar to the flavors that I'm familiar with, and maybe have the people that purchase these salts be like, oh, yeah, this is kind of Frio like, right? Or this is like the flavors that Frio is used to, kind of like that. And then at the end, I chose Sakura salt because I figured it went really well with my outfit for the PR. So that's how the 3 choices of the salts ended up being like this. そうですね、PR 配信でこれ説明したでしょ。なんか3個選んだね。そしてなんか辛いニンニク、そしてユズの塩はまあラテンアメリカでもちろん同じではないけど似てるのシーズニングは結構使ってるから、じゃあラテンアメリカっぽいの味を選びたかったね。特になんか辛いたいものが多くて、そしてまあユズがないけど酸っぱいなライムもよく使ってるから、じゃあ似てるの味を選ぼうかなと思ってる。もちろん桜全然違うけど、ただ桜はPR の服装と結構似合ってたと思ったから、じゃあ選ぼうね。なんか商品がな感じがあるから。I really thought like the Sakura salt would have like a fancy or like an elegant element to it that would complete the set pretty well. So I'm pretty satisfied with my choices personally. I really do not regret anything. それなんか自分の選択を結構満足してますね。全然後悔がない。It was very interesting though. I don't know. For like people outside of Japan, are flavored salts like a normal thing? It's not something that I grew up with or that I'm pretty used to. I have like the normal salt and pepper, and I think in some countries I have seen like the Italian seasoning mix, the steak seasoning mix. But where I grew up, we didn't do any of that. We would pick each seasoning individually, and then we make the mix ourselves, you know. Garlic salt. Yeah, something like that I have seen. Salt with truffles. Sal con trufa. Sí lo he visto, ¿no? Pero sí, creo que en Latinoamérica no tanto, pero en otros lugares sí he visto como mezcla italiana. Condimentos italianos. Condimentos para carne. Pero creo que acá más lo común es nosotros hacer como nuestra combinación, ¿no? Y ya al gusto de cada quien. Texas, but we don't really use them. I see. Yeah, in Latin America, it's more common for people to like choose their own condiments and make their own blends according to taste, right? Himalayan pink salt? But isn't that just a variety of salt, not really like a seasoning? Like a seasoned salt, a flavored salt? That one I see and I actually do buy myself because it's pretty good. Lemon pepper. Lemon pepper sounds nice. Chicken salt from Australia. Is that like salt meant to season chicken? Or is it salt that tastes like chicken, like with like chicken stock or something? Interesting. Lemon pepper salt, garlic salt, truffle salt, and even ginger salt. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure all of those can get some pretty good results. Tajin? I don't think we consider Tajin as salt. It has salt, but when we think of tahini, we think of it as like a separate condiment. Which we use for like fruits or snacks. チキンソルト気になる。まあ、チキンが結構しょっぱいだから多分いい感じだね。Es como un sazonador normal. Solo para frutas, ¿sabes? Yo conocía gente que se la ponía a los ramen. A los ramen les ponía tajín. Como con otras salsas. Porque como que tiene un acidito. Pero siento que luego se puede volver muy salado, ¿no? What fruit do you like to add tajín to? I like to put it on watermelon. Watermelon and green apple. I think are good with tajín. Nihon de tajín ga uteru kana? I wonder, do they sell tajín in Asia? In general? I don't think so, right? It's basically, it's kind of like a flavoring salt if you think about it. It's like a very sour, slightly spicy. It's like a sour, slightly spicy lime chili type of salt that you usually combine with fruit. I think in general, like, a lot of people outside of Latin America don't really like or fancy the idea of like putting stuff on fruit. They think, oh, but you should eat the fruit by itself. But it's very common to like eat fruit with like spices in it. Especially if it's like a berry, if it's a very like sweet fruit, the sourness of the tajín and the saltiness and very slight spiciness is very it's very nice in my opinion. Very nice. Yeah, it's very popular on mango, it's very popular on pineapple, on cucumbers, jicama. I forgot how to say jicama in English. Yeah, chamoy is very popular on fruits also. 今日そうですね、タヒンは結構なんか酸っぱくて少しだけ辛いソルトみたいな感じね。普通にラテンアメリカ人が果物につけます。特に個人的になんかスイカと緑リンゴにつけるのが好きですね。だって果物は結構甘いから酸っぱくて辛いのソルトは結構美味しくなるよね。バランスが結構いい。多分海外でまあ他の国で果物になんかシーズニングみたいな感じつけるのが珍しいかもね。If you guys like sour stuff, then I can definitely recommend it. 酸っぱいもの好きな人は結構おすすめできるよね。スイカに塩かける。まあ、塩は確かに普通ですね。じゃあ、スイカは塩と好きなら多分タヒンも好きになるかもね。It is true that it is pretty common for like some people to eat watermelon with salt, right? They put salt on watermelon. So I feel like if you like watermelon with salt, then you will probably like it with tajín, unless you're very sensitive to like spicy, but I wonder. I don't know. Do you guys put it on tomatoes though? I've never seen people put it on tomatoes though. トマトに塩かけるみたいな。トマトに全然見たことないね、つけるの。もちろん塩見たことあるけど、タヒンならあんまりいいですね。Isn't it sugar and tomato? Some people put salt on it. But you can do both. 日本のトマト甘いからかな。日本のトマト甘いの？ Wait, Japan's tomatoes are sweet? I thought like tomatoes had like the very specific flavor. That's where like some of the when people think umami, they think of tomatoes, right? Because it's like one of the easier things to identify with umami. It's like the tomato kind of flavor. トマトが甘いんだ。特になんかこのイメージがあったけど、トマトならまあ甘いとしょっぱいより旨味が一番わかるよね、そのイメージ。ミニトマト。ああ、ミニトマトは確かにね。それよりしょっぱいより甘いね。I mean, if it's cherry tomatoes, yeah, they're a little bit sweeter, right? Indonesian tomatoes are sweet. Whoa, interesting. Depende del tipo de tomate, pues parece que sí, ¿no? Parece. Porque también tenemos el tomatillo, ¿no? El tomate verde que también es más que dulce o salado, es como vinagroso, ¿no? Es bastante ácido. El que se usa mucho para las salsas verdes. Que確かにね、まあトマトの種類によるかな。あとラテンアメリカで緑トマトも結構使ってるよ。なんかソースに。そして緑トマトはしょっぱいよりなんか酸っぱいな感じやるね。けど、果物の酸っぱいより、なんていうの、ベネガーみたいな感じがあるね。Tomate de árbol que se hace jugo y ají, pero es diferente. Órale. Un montón de tomates. Sosu ソースにしたりするよ。特になんかメキシコ料理でよく使うよね。なんかエンチラダスとかで使うよ。チラキレスでも使うよ。Yeah, I think Mexican cuisine uses that a lot, right? The tomatillo, the green tomatoes. I am personally more of a red sauce person when it comes to Mexican food, but yeah, salsa verde. That's usually what it's called. タヒンってお酒に入れたりするもの。それはね、確かにね、お酒にいるよ。That is true. We actually do put a tahini in like a few alcoholic drinks, right? For example, if there's like a cocktail or a beer, it's common that in the cup, in the edges of the cup where you drink from, you'll coat it in like tahini. And depending on the type of cocktail, the prepared drink, you'll sip the drink and then you're gonna touch the tahini with the edge of the cup. Some people do that with salt also. So it kind of becomes a pretty nice, especially with like clamatos, right? With like a tomato based drink, like a tomato shrimp cocktail. Yeah, not on mojitos, no, definitely not on mojitos. It does not match mojitos. It matches micheladas, it matches clamatos. I think even with like Coke, some people just with normal Coke they'll drink it with a tahini cup. exacto como la michelada. そうですね、まあ、でもね、なんか、お酒に、につけるより、なんか、お酒飲むのカップのリップに、塩みたいにタヒンをなんかコートになるよね。だから、なんか、お酒を飲むときに、唇が、タヒンが触ってるから、口にタヒンも入るけど、お酒になんか、入ってるんではないよね。特になんか、コーラとか、トメトコクテルとか、クラマトとか、につけるよね。そうそうそう、ガラスの縁に。It's been a while. It's really been a while since I drank a cocktail with tahin on the cup. Maybe since like in like 2 or 3 years ago, when a childhood friend of mine got married or something. I think that's the last time I had it. 多分2年3年前ぐらいかな。全然飲んでないよね。みたいなコクテル。幼馴染の結婚式で。Like a salty dog? What's a salty dog? Those sounds like the neighbors' dogs. Whenever I start streaming, they get salty and they start barking. Oh, okay. Yeah. You see how that edge is covered in salt? We do the same with tahin. I see. Refreshing cocktail made with gin or vodka, grapefruit juice. Wait, that sounds really good. I love grapefruit. Oh, this sounds really nice. Why is it named Salty Dog? It has such a pretty look to it for it to be called Salty Dog. 結構美味しそうなコクテルですね。個人的にグレープフルーツが好きだから。美味しそう。グレープフルーツとジンとボッカ。そして、グラスの縁にソルトつけてるんだ。I thought they moved out. They're in the process of moving out. They still haven't left though. I thought they would have moved by now. But no. They haven't moved yet. なんでソルティドッグって言うんだ? Why do you call it salty dog? Like such a fancy drink or such a pretty looking drink. And now it's just called salty dog. That's sad. This is interesting. So the coffee has cooled down, and now I don't really taste the chocolate as much. I taste the peach. I taste the peach and the florality. The florality of the sakura is a little bit more pronounced as well. This is such a hard word to say. Florality. 難しいよね。florality. But yeah, it's kind of nice. そうですね、コーヒー冷めても、もう、チョコレートの味がそんなに強くなくて、今はもう、桃の味はもっと強くなったね。いい感じだ。Maybe I might even want to try brewing this coffee at 88 degrees or 90 degrees and see how it goes. 多分また今度、この豆を90や88度で入れてみようかな。 Yeah, it would probably make it less bitter, so I think it would be nice. そうそう。多分そんなに苦くならないかもね。Have I taught you guys how to say spring in Japanese, I mean in Spanish yet? みんなにスペイン語で春を教えたことあるの？スペイン語の春。I don't think so, right? I taught you guys summer and winter. But I don't think I taught you guys spring, did I? Someone said it though. 誰か言ったけどね。Primavera. Oh, okay. So I did teach it. 教えたか。Primavera. Oh, you guys remember. Nice. I don't even remember myself what I taught. もう今もう僕が何を教えたって覚えてないから大変だね。そう、primavera だ。primavera. That's spring. So I guess we're gonna do a different word today instead. じゃあ別のことは教えようか。I don't think you can look at this as a quiz to make up for me forgetting. 僕は忘れてるから多分クイズになるかもね。Have I taught you guys peach in that case then? じゃあ桃教えたことあるか？ I think I don't remember teaching peach. Is there a word for sakura or blossom in Spanish? I think we just say sakura in Spanish, no? No hay alguna palabra que para el sakura o sí. Alright, I'll teach you guys peach then. じゃあ、桃教えようか。Flor de cerezo. Oh, perfecto. Entonces yo por otaku, ay, los sakuras. Los sakuras. Ay, sí, ya. Flor de cerezo, sí. Creo que sí queda. Momo. That's Japanese. Flor de cerezos. Cerezos is like cherry. So it's basically cherry blossom. Flor de cerezos. Cerezo is like basically the guy cherry, because cereza, if you want to say cherry, you say cereza. But if you want to talk about the tree, you say cerezo. Because apparently if you become a tree, it's like it becomes male. 面白いですね。だって普通になんかセレーサが情勢的な名詞だけど、まあチェリーだね。チェリー。でも昨日話ならじゃあセレーソになるよね。男性になるわ。So there's two ways of saying, or there's a lot of ways of saying peach. But I'll teach you guys both versions. I usually would only teach you the Latin American version, but maybe it's easier to remember the Spain version if you guys like NIJISANJI, Ian. 普通に多分ラテンアメリカの使う言葉しか教えないけど、今回は多分スペインの言い方を覚えやすいかな。だからどっちを教えます。So, the word for peach or momo in Japanese is durazno. durazno is the word that I personally use. But in Spain, I believe they call it melocotón. Melocotón. I think it's pretty easy to remember because it's kind of funny sounding, right? Melocotón, but I say durazno. そうですね、まあ個人的にドゥラズノ使うけど、スペインでメロコトンって言うよね。メロコトン。There's also a chabacano, but I think chabacano is different, right? I think chabacano would be more like the apricot. If you want to say in Chinese, it's tao. Tao. So yeah, no, I use durazno though. You will never hear me say melocotón. まあ個人的にドゥラズノ使うよね。僕から全然メロコトンって聞かないかも。ドーリンゴもドゥラズノあったな。そうなんだ。じゃあラテンアメリカ、スペイン語教えてもらってるんだ。I see. Duolingo teaches you durazno, so I thought they would teach you Spain Spanish, but I guess they teach you the Latin American one. Tao は地獄楽で聞いた。Tao は確かに力ですね。能力のエネルギー。That's true, like in 地獄楽 you use the word Tao for like energy and stuff, right? So where you get your activities. I mean your abilities. You can choose the setting. Yeah, I think it would make sense that you can change it. It would make sense that you could change depending on which Spanish you're using. What's the difference between those two? Between durazno and melocotón? Durazno is Latin America, is used in Latin America, and melocotón is usually used in Spain. I guess you could say it's similar to perhaps using the word fries versus chips. Because I think Europe calls it chips, and then over here we call it fries. I wonder if that's a similar way of putting it. 多分ヨーロッパとアメリカの違いかもね。アメリカで French fries って言うけど、イギリスで chips って言うよね。Like the fish and chips. Fish and French fries. Stuff like that. It really does not roll off the tongue as well if you say fish and French fries, right? It kind of like you get stuck in it. Fish and French fries, fish and French. It's kind of like a tongue twister almost. なんか早口言葉みたいね。Fish and French fries, fish and French fries. I end up saying frish. Fish and French fries, fish and French fries, fish and chips, fish and chips, fish and chips. Yeah, and then what we call chips are called crisps over there, right? Yeah, it's kind of hard. English pronouncing is hard, especially if you want to speak fast. There's times where, like, especially in collabs, I'll listen to like an archive and I'll be like, can people even understand me when I'm talking? Like, or it feels like I'm going like, but I don't know. まあ、英語の発音が難しいよね。特に、早く話すときに、時々なんかアーカイブで見る特にコラボで、自分は本当に伝えるの？自分のことはなんかみたいな感じになると思うけど、いっぱいなんか言葉を忘れるみたいな感じがあると思う。It feels like I start slurring a lot of the words when I try to speak fast. Se me lengua la traba. Okay. Yeah, no, not just Japanese. I should be improving in all my languages, honestly. 日本語だけじゃなく、言語は全部成長できたらいいね。Trilingual, no bilingual, polyglot, more like polygon, because my languages are all gone. Frioのエスパニョルも同じやけどね。どういうこと？まあ、スペイン語を話すときに確かになんか早く喋るようになるけど、まあそんなに言葉は忘れないと思うね。スペイン語の発音がそんなに難しくないから。まあ母国語だけどね。But anyways, guys, I guess it's about time that I'm also polygon. I'm gonna be calling it a day for here. Thanks so much for joining me for the coffee, though. Thank you so much. まあ、じゃあ、そろそろ僕もポリゴンになるかな。お雑談来てくださってありがとうございます。Thank you so much for coming. Thank you very much. コーヒーは本当に美味しかったわ。I'm really curious about trying other recipes with it. So I'll probably, I mean, I still have plenty of this coffee left as well as the last one. So I'm probably gonna be brewing it again on stream. Most likely. そうだね、まあ、この豆は結構残ってるから、じゃあまた今度いろんなレシピ試してみようか。Yes. So, I'll see you guys next time, okay? Unfortunately, I do not have clear spoilers or anything that I can specify when it comes to next week or this week. So, all I can say is please look forward to it. And yeah, let's have a nice one. そうだね、今週はあまりネタバレできないけど、まあ、ただ、楽しみにしてねって言えるよね。それだけ。 今週も頑張りましょうね。Let's do our best this week also. Let's do our best. So with that being said, I'm gonna quickly read the super chats that were just sent, and we can call it a day, okay? じゃあ、スーパーチャットを読ませていただきますね。ペピさん、スーパースティッカーありがとうございます。Mandarin, thanks so much for the super chat. Thank you very much. Now, let's do our best with our languages. Let's do our best. That was a pretty well written super chat, though. Mega Shikune, muchas gracias por el super chat. Muchas gracias. Gracias por pasarte. で、銀さん、スーパーチャットありがとうございます。そうですね、春っぽいの豆は結構ちょうどよかったね。今日で入れるの。It was nice to drink a spring reminiscent bean in spring, right? So yeah, thank you very much. ありがとうね。リンゴさん、スーパースティッカーありがとうございます。アニアさん、スーパーチャットありがとうございます。ありがとうね、ありがとう。おつおつ。Alright, I'll see you guys. Also, I guess I can say that next week, it's very unlikely that I'll be continuing Neo. I really want to, but I don't want to end up playing for a long time next week. So I think Neo will come the week after next one. まあ多分今週は2を多分続けないけど、また今度ね、続くは。今週ではなくて。But yeah, I'm really looking forward to finishing though, and continuing. でも続きを楽しみにしてるね。モンチョさん、スーパーチャットありがとうございます。ありがとう、ありがとう。スピーカーさん、スーパーチャットありがとうございます。Thank you very much. Yeah, it was a little bit bitter than I expected, but it could be the recipe, so I'm gonna be trying to pour recipe with cooler water and see how it goes. It's probably not gonna be as bitter that time. This time. そうですね、まあ、今は思ったより苦かったけど、多分もっと冷たいお湯で入れたら多分そんなに苦くならないよね。そして3ステップじゃなくて2ステップレシピでも合いそうと思う。でもクリームさん、スーパースティッカーありがとうございます。Alright. I think I was able to read all the super chats, so we're gonna be calling it a day, okay? じゃあ、スーパーチャット全部読めたので、ここで終了させていただきます。Thank you very much, everyone. I'll see you guys this week, okay? じゃあ、また今週ね。バイバイ、see you guys. It seems like Shunyaminanium Senpai is playing Pokopia, so we're gonna be going to his stream, okay? 今、闇の先輩が、ヤミネーニウム先輩が、Pokopia やってるからそこにリダイレクトしますね。